क्योंकि वह कान का भी कान है, मन का भी मन है, वाणी का भी वाणी है, प्राण का भी प्राण है और नेत्रों का भी नेत्र है। अर्थात इन सबके पीछे श्रोता, मंता, वक्ता, दृष्टा आदि के रूप में एक चैतन्य तत्व है। अतः विवेकी लोग शरीर, इंद्रिय आदि में मैं मेरा भाव त्याग कर इस लोक से प्रयाग करने के बाद अमृतत्व की प्राप्ति करते हैं।
This is one of the most famous verses of not only the Kena Upanishad but of all Upanishads. He is the ear of the ear, Shrotrasya Shrotram. The entire Upanishad is devoted to asking the question, Cain, from where? Cain itself is a question. The verse says, your physical, mortal ears, can they really hear? If hearing were to happen through these appendages called ears, then even corpses could have heard. Don't corpses have ears? He is the ear of the ear, the eye of the eye, the voice of the voice. He is the one behind all physical activity. Physical activity seems to have life. The hands appear to move, the eyes appear to see, the nose appears to breathe, the ears appear to hear. All these activities are not really of these physical things, these physical organs, but are due to something non-physical behind the physical. Since the one behind is non-physical, hence he cannot be touched or held or objectified or named. Therefore, the Upanishad just points. He is the one behind the ears. He is the one behind the eyes. He is the one behind all physical activity. Life is his, but appears to belong to the manifested. The power is his, but since it is granted to and is expressed through the physical organs, so you may mistakenly believe that life vests in the physical apparatus, the body. The body is just expressing life. Life is actually centered somewhere else. The source of life is something else, somebody else. And when you know that, then this knowledge gives you freedom from all the sufferings that come due to identification with the body. You don't really identify with the body. Your intention really is to identify with something that the body represents. But that which the body represents is intangible. The body itself is tangible. So you mistakenly get associated with the tangible, whereas your real love, your real identification is towards the intangible. You love the eyes of your beloved because the eyes are shining with something behind the eyes, something livelier than flesh. Nobody loves a dead man's eyes. Had there been no self, no life, who would have fallen in love with eyes? So you love the one who is actually looking out through the eyes. But he cannot be made to sit on that chair. You cannot touch him. So as a substitute, as a proxy, you start loving the physical body. It's like falling in love with your beloved's car. The car moves. The car is gross. He sits inside the car and drives it. You cannot touch him directly. He is enclosed inside the car, in a sense. So instead you start hugging and loving and worshipping the car. The car is wonderful as long as it is driven by an able driver. And here the one inside is not only the driver of the car but also the designer of the car. Without him, it is not that the car just won't be driven. Without him, the design itself would fall to pieces. When he is inside, the car is held together by his presence. When he is not inside, the car just disintegrates. Whenever you are attracted towards something, see whether you are attracted towards that thing or something that the thing is representing. You will invariably find that it is never the thing that you are in love with. It is something that the thing is representing. But that which is being represented is so fine, so delicate, so subtle. You miss it. Instead, you catch hold of the gross thing. Clear?
This is giving a feeling that there's something inside the body that is keeping you alive as it goes away when you are physically dead.
You're not really inside. It could be a Google car as well. The driver is not really sitting inside the car. The driver could be somewhere else. The internet is never sitting inside a computer, is it? But the entire internet can show up on a single computer. Is it not so? Theoretically, every single website is available on every single computer that is accessible. But is the internet inside the computer? But the internet, the entire internet can show up, manifest itself, express itself through the computer.
जैसे इसमें एक बात हुआ मन के पीछे का मन है, तो जैसे आंखें कान ये तो फिजिकल समझ में आ रहा है, मन भी फिजिकल होता है, तो
आंख जहां कहीं भी जाती है किसी चीज पे ही जाके ठहरती है ना. Your eyes keep wandering. And what is it that the eyes are always looking at? Things, objects. What is it that the mind is always looking at? Things and objects. Just like the eyes, the mind too has a certain wanderlust. The eyes cannot rest at one place. Mind too cannot rest at one place. Mind is looking at things and things and things and hoping that something will give it the peace that it so desperately seeks. Who told the mind that you must have peace? By itself, the mind is just a conditioned machine. But who told the mind that remaining conditioned will not help you? Look for something that rids you of your conditioning. Who told the mind? Surely the mind is being advised by a mind of its own. A mind of its own, not an imported mind. In general, all the contents of the mind are imported. And whatsoever comes into the mind never tells the mind that it must seek freedom from what comes into it. The mind borrows its contents from everywhere. And whatsoever comes into the mind from here and there has no power and no intention and no authority to tell the mind that it must not accept things from here and there, because the thing that would be so telling the mind would itself be coming from here and there. So with what authority is it going to counsel the mind to not to accept something foreign? So surely the mind is not composed of stuff all foreign. It has something of its own as well. The mind has its own mind as well. The mind is not merely conditioned. The mind is not merely full of all alien stuff. The mind has its own home as well. The mind does have a native village. The mind does have an ancestral house. That's what the Upanishad is referring to. The mind of the mind. The original home of the mind. The original stuff of the mind, not the stuff that the mind borrows or imports. And it is that original stuff that is always telling the mind that borrowed things won't help you. It is that original stuff that is pushing the mind towards something metaphysical. Otherwise, the tendency of the mind is to just go to stuff physical. That is why the beyond is so magical. It is doing things that cannot really be done. The mind that is always running here and there also has a strong impulse to stop. That is the predicament of the mind. Everything that the mind can look at, everything that is available to sensory experience, keeps telling the mind, run, run and run, have more of us. And at the same time, there is something at the center of the mind, at the foundation of the mind, that is telling the mind, oh, all this is so futile. Friend, you are being fooled. This advice comes without proof. This advice is not very loud. Still, this advice has an authenticity that all the loudness of the outside cannot suppress.
Acharya, while we are still on this question, you were mentioning about the internet, like it will come on each computer. So referring it to ourselves, this shows the beyond and compared to each person. Like the internet, in the sense, the original is somewhere and it's reflecting. Like for us, when it comes,
The original is everywhere.
Everywhere
and nowhere. The internet is not really in any particular computer.
So the same thing with us too. The beyond original is in everyone, or it's a reflection.
Are you asking whether all of us
Have the original,
have the
inside,
original, or are we just the reflections?
or inside the beyond reflection is there in us, or the original beyond the beyond original
Expression.
is in every one of us.
Expression. In its silent form, in its sleeping form, the truth is formless, soundless, movementless. In its expressed form, the truth has form, color, name, properties, all these things. We are expressions.
Like in some shastras, the right is the reflection. So it's not the reflection; it's the expression. It's the expression.
What you see in a mirror can be called as your expression or your reflection. The mirror is just expressing what you are or manifesting. So it's used more or less in the same sense.
So Acharya, truth is about having less belief on conditioned mind or weakened.
You see, we just said that all that is material, visible, tangible, too is an expression of the truth. No point having less belief in the material. No point having more belief in the material. Your real belief, belief beyond belief, unquestionable faith, must belong to your heart. And I say it must be unquestionable because the heart offers no proofs. So the moment you start asking questions, the heart will have to fall silent. It will have no answers. It does not offer proofs. It only offers definite advice, conclusions, adages, truisms. This is it. It will not tell you why. Now, if you are with your heart, then you may keep believing or not believing. All will have the color of truth. All will have the aroma of truth. As a living, functional body, there is something that you will be doing. And you will not be always moving in one direction. Sometimes you'll be moving towards left, sometimes towards right. Sometimes you'll be still. Sometimes you would be a warrior, sometimes you would be a peacemaker. All your roles, all your actions, all your movements are sanctified by the touch of truth. That is what is important. The emphasis has to be upon being at the right center. And after that, there will be no need to ask questions about right action and wrong action, this and that. conditioned mind and unconditioned mind. The mind would always be conditioned. Deconditioning is about having the conditioned mind as subservient to the unconditional truth. The mind is still conditioned, but the conditioning is now a slave to something bigger than itself. You hold the sword in your right hand because you are conditioned to hold the sword in your right hand since childhood. He holds the sword in his left hand. He's trained to hold the sword in his left hand. But both of you are fighting for the truth. You are still fighting in your own conditioned ways. But now you have accepted the lordship of the truth. So now your conditioning is a servant of the truth. With his left hand, he is fighting for the truth. With your right hand, you are fighting for the truth. And it is your conditioning that you are using your right hand and he is using his left. And you'd always be conditioned. Every cell of your body is conditioned. Instead of fighting, every bit and piece of conditioning that you detect, instead of fighting these 1,000 battles, fight the one battle worth fighting. Surrender the center of this conditioning to the truth. Somebody sings. Let her sing for the truth. And you can sing in 1,000 ways. All of those ways are in some sense conditioned ways. It doesn't matter how you sing. Sing for the truth. Somebody cooks. Somebody runs. Somebody likes to cheat a lot. Doesn't matter what your gifts are. Doesn't matter what your traits are. Live them in an environment of the truth. Surrender them to the service of the truth. You are playing a particular instrument. Obviously, the instrument has come to you by way of your experiences. Time has given you the capacity to play that instrument. And somebody was playing another instrument, and a third person was playing a third instrument. All that was happening by the bonfire a little while back. Right? Somebody could sing in Hindi, somebody could sing in English. Somebody had one type of accent, the other had another. Doesn't matter which instrument, time has taught to play you. Play it. Play it for the truth. That is real deconditioning. Real deconditioning is not about fighting your accent, your food habits. Real deconditioning is about, and surrendering does not mean giving up. Surrendering means it belongs to you. It belongs to you. Somebody has been taught by the time to play the flute, and somebody has been taught by the time to use a gun. Both are needed in the service of the truth. Why give them up? Why give up the flute? Play the flute and serve the truth. Why give up the gun? Play the gun and serve the truth. So in the name of deconditioning, don't start fighting against yourself. Don't start fighting against the flute or the gun. She can bake a pizza. That's what her upbringing, her environment, her society have taught her. And she makes fabulous dosas. That's what her upbringing, her country, her environment have taught her. Why ask them to decondition themselves and forget the pizza and the dosa? Let her bake pizzas, let her make dosas and serve them. Truthfully, at least. Deconditioning is in many ways a very futile and absurd pursuit. You would never be deconditioned. Kamlesh may try as hard as he can, but his beard would never be blue or red. Every strand of the beard is conditioned to be black. And he's never going to be a 6-footer. So, we are what we are, all conditioned beings. He's a man, she's a woman. What do you think this manness and womanness is? Conditioning. How are you going to fight it? How are you going to fight it about it? Meera is very clearly a woman when she sings for Krishna. The womanness is very visible in her songs, but the womanness is not dedicated to Krishna. That is deconditioning. She is still a woman. She's taking Krishna as her husband, obviously. She's taking herself to be a woman. That's why Krishna would be her husband. But the womanness is now in the service of Krishna.